Hello, everyone. Welcome to SNP Ask the Expert webinar series. I'm Sharon Chinthrajah, and I'm so glad you could join us today. This session is very special because we're bringing you a real inspiring story from one of our teen patients who's gone through food allergy oral immunotherapy, or OIT. If you or someone you know has food allergies, or you're thinking about what treatment might look like, this is a great chance to hear directly from one of our patients who's been through it. Our goal today is to share an honest and hopeful story about managing food allergies as a child and a teen and how oral immunotherapy can help. So, we'll be talking about Alexander's experiences, his challenges, and things that he's seen along the way. Joining us today is Alexander Robinson, a brave and inspiring teen who has been working with our team here at the SNP Center for a while. Thanks so much for being here with us, Alexander.
Great to be here.
Wonderful. Let's dive in. I'm going to ask you a few questions about your journey, and please feel free to share whatever you're comfortable with. So let's start with when you got diagnosed with food allergies. When did you find out you had a food allergy?
So I've had a food allergy for as long as I can remember. My parents found out when I think I was around 2 years old. They gave me peanut butter for the first time, and I got a few hives around my face. So they brought me to the ER and I did a test, and they found out that I was allergic to peanuts.
And what was it like? So, how old were you again? You were
I was around 2 years old.
around 2 years old. So, hard to remember back to those days, but I'm sure your parents have told you stories. So, how did your allergy symptoms affect your everyday life before treatment, like at school or during sports or camps? What was life like living with a peanut allergy?
So I think it was really hard. I just felt left out and different from my friends. The thing that comes to mind is when I was in lower school and my classmates would bring in snacks for their birthdays, I always had to bring in my own snacks from home to leave it in my teacher's desk because most of the time I wasn't able to eat what they brought in. And so that just made me feel really sad and alone because I had nobody to share my experiences with, and I just felt alone.
Yeah. I'm sorry to hear that, Alexander. That's a common story we hear from children with the food allergies. Was there anybody else in your class that had any food allergies or in your group?
There were a few people in my grade that had food allergies, especially peanut allergies, but not in my class. For example, when we had Thanksgiving lunch with the whole grade, me and a few other kids had to sit on a separate table just for kids who were allergic to peanuts or other nuts. And I couldn't sit with any of my friends because they were all eating nuts and I just felt really left out.
Yeah. Yeah. We know that food allergies can make patients, children, teens, adults feel very alone, especially in social situations, so many times because a lot of our social situations involve food. Did you play any sports or did you go to any camps?
I did. I don't think it really affected me as much there because I wasn't really eating, but it kind of just affected me across the board because I always felt so nervous and it affected my confidence a lot.
Yeah. And nervous because you were worried that you might have an accidental
Nervous.
uh,
Yeah, nervous because I was just so scared about everything that I put in my mouth. And I eat 3 times a day. It's not something that you can avoid. So I was just always constantly stressed and nervous that I would have
yeah,
a reaction.
yeah. Were you fearful of eating out? It sounds like you were. Did you change your behavior? Did your family change their behavior? Did you eat a lot of meals at home, or how
Uh,
did you manage that?
yeah, before my treatment, me and my family were scared to eat out because there were so many things on the menu that were could possibly be dangerous to me. And honestly, the one thing that made me so mad was when I was ordering something like a pasta and the waiter would say that it could contain traces of peanuts. But I know it doesn't have peanuts, but it made me feel really scared and like second guessing it.
Because at restaurants, it's very hard to understand what's really cross contamination or not. And who would think that there would be peanuts in a Italian pasta dish, right? Yeah. Though it's not been unheard of that some pasta dishes or tomato sauce can have nuts. I've had a few patients that have had reactions because they don't suspect it. So I hear you that, it's very nerve-wracking. Before treatment, did you have any accidental exposures or reactions?
No, luckily I didn't. I know a lot of people did, and I'm very thankful that I never had that experience, and hopefully I never will, especially because of my treatment.
How did you hear about oral immunotherapy? What motivated you to start treating your peanut allergy?
My parents found out about oral immunotherapy. They'd known about it for a while, and what really motivated them and me was the picture of not having to worry about having an allergy and being able to live my life freely without worry. That was really what motivated all of us.
Did you know anybody who had gone through oral immunotherapy before you started?
Yes, one of my very close friends from school had gone through it, and that's kind of how we learnt about it more than what we already knew. So it was really nice to be able to talk to him.
That's wonderful. So much of this is by word of mouth, and really trying to understand what treatment looks like. Did you have any questions or concerns about oral immunotherapy when you first learned about it?
When I learned about it, I was young, so I didn't really understand what it was and how it could make my allergy go away. But I trusted my parents and the doctor I was working with enough to feel comfortable and safe and know that I was in good hands.
I remember seeing you at the Shannon Parker Center with your family, and it's amazing the progress that you've made. So let's dive in a little bit into the treatment years. How did OIT look like for you and for your family?
So I started just eating a minuscule amount of peanut powder every day, and I slowly built that up until I had more of a tolerance. And eventually, about maybe 2 years ago, I ate my first real peanut when now I've just been slowly building up from there. So now I'm eating about 3 peanuts a day.
That is fantastic. What an amazing journey. What an amazing journey for you. We're so proud of you. Were there hard parts about eating peanut every day? Did you like it?
There were definitely hard days. There were some minor reactions that I had. For example, my stomach would sometimes hurt, or I would have an itchy mouth, or a hive. Nothing that a bit of Zyrtec couldn't help, but they were still a bit discouraging at some points. It was still a bit
Yeah,
discouraging at some points.
because it's alarming that you're feeling a reaction to the dose that you're taking.
Yeah, it was very scary sometimes.
Yeah, how did you manage that?
My parents and my family really helped me through it. And it was just the motivation of not having a food allergy anymore that made me keep going.
Yeah, that's amazing. I always say that our food allergy patients have to be so brave because you guys are the ones who have to do it every single day. So tell us about how did you fit it into your schedule? You're a busy teenager now, but how did you fit it into your schedule? Were most days similar or were there sometimes you had to adjust?
So when I started, it was difficult because I play sports a lot and I'm active, but I couldn't do any physical activity too close to my dose or shower or go to sleep or anything. So it was like a big chunk of time taken out of the day, which was really difficult. And I had to miss things.
You had to miss sports activities
Yeah,
or different things?
I had to miss my practices a lot. And there were times where I had to stay up really late because I would have my dose too late at night and I couldn't go to sleep for a while in case I had a
Yeah.
reaction. So it was
Yeah.
very difficult to fit into my schedule at the beginning. But now I have more of a rhythm where I get up in the morning and I take my dose and then I go to school and my physical activity isn't that much of a consideration anymore, so it makes it a lot easier.
So you found ways to make it work with your schedule so that you could still keep sports in your schedule.
Yeah.
Tell us what sports you play, Alexander.
I play football and basketball mainly. I play for my school and I also played for a team outside of school, but I stopped doing that now.
That's amazing. So you're very active
Yeah.
and you're still keeping it in your diet.
Yeah, I am. But now I don't really need to be careful of activity. It was just before when I was working up to my maintenance dose, which is 3 peanuts.
Okay. How long have you been on 3 peanuts?
I probably got there around a year ago, and
Yeah.
I'm still eating them every day, even though I now only need to eat them once a week, which is very nice.
Yeah.
Um,
That's great.
yeah.
That's great. Lots of progress. You see how your immune system has changed because of the very hard work you've put into it. So that's definitely something worth celebrating. Have you noticed anything that's different in your mood or your social life or your confidence? You know, you're sitting here talking with me and telling me your amazing story and your amazing journey. What's changed now that you have gotten this far?
I think it definitely helped my confidence so much. It made me not feel nervous anymore, and I can just feel a lot more free. But overall, it just made me so much happier that like I can go out with my friends and not worry about having a reaction. It's just helped my life so much.
That's wonderful to hear. That's what every parent wishes for their child and for all children, and really what all physicians who do food allergy treatments are hoping for, that that this is a game changer for our patients. Now that you've been through this, have you chatted with other patients who are thinking about doing oral immunotherapy? And what advice would you give to them?
I haven't actually talked to anyone going through the process right now, but if I were to, I would just say that it's completely worth it. And it might be scary, but in the long run, it'll help you so much to just trust your doctors and your family and to just trust the process.
Yeah, that's great. That's really wonderful. What's one thing you never thought you'd be able to do before treatment, but you can do now?
I guess eat peanuts. I never thought that that would be possible, but now I'm eating it every day.
Yeah, that's a great point. And have you tried something other than peanuts, like peanut butter or
I haven't really because it's still a bit nerve-wracking. Even though I can, I don't really feel comfortable yet.
yeah. Yeah. Over time, people branch out, but if you're tolerating the 3 peanuts well, that's great, and it's amazing how you've built it into your lifestyle. What's one thing you wish people better understood about living with food allergies?
I think that they need to understand that it's life-threatening and it's serious because I've met a lot of people who just think it's like a joke or not as big of a deal as I make it, which I think is really hurtful, but also dangerous if people don't understand the importance and seriousness of allergies.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's very frustrating. How do you overcome that?
I usually try and tell them about my experience and how dangerous it can be for many people. And it's like a disease. People die from it. It's very serious. So I try to tell them that.
Yeah, that's great. I think we all have our part to educate our community about food allergies and how serious it is. That's wonderful that you're such an advocate. If you could send a message to your younger self before starting treatment, what would that be?
I would probably tell myself that this treatment is definitely worth it, and it changed my life so much just to stick with it, even if even on the days where I had some reactions and I didn't want to. It's so good in the long run.
Yeah, that's wonderful. You're not alone. There are a lot of food allergy patients who are very similar to you, who've had bumps along the way and have stuck with it and worked with their teams to really personalize their treatment journey to be successful. And I know that we've chatted before about going away to camp. So tell me a little bit about that experience. How did you manage your food allergies when you went to camp? What was it like?
So about 2 summers ago, I think I went to a camp in America, which was really fun, but it was super hot and we were playing sports and doing activities the whole day, which made it really difficult to take my dose. And I had to take it every day at that point. So I would go into the medical center, take my dose, and have to sit there for an hour because I couldn't even step outside. It was over 100 degrees, and that was not good for my dose because it could give me a reaction. There were a lot of things I missed at that camp, I, a lot of things I missed, which made me feel really sad.
Yeah. Have you gone to camp or gone away since that time?
Yeah, I have, but not for that long. So in 2 days, I'm going for a football trip to Zurich, and I probably just won't do my dose at all there because I don't need to. I can go at least a week without taking it and I'll be fine.
Wonderful. Things keep changing the longer you're on treatment, and you're noticing some of the benefits that what we see is that longer term treatment really does change the threshold sensitivity for our patients with food allergies. And I'm so glad that you continue on this journey. What's next after this? What are your dreams and goals?
I guess I just want my allergy to be completely gone. Like to just walk into a restaurant and order something like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, which would be amazing. And I just hope that I can do that one day.
Great. Well, I'm sure you'll get there, Alexander. You can accomplish anything. So I know you've mentioned, Alexander, that you used to be very nervous about social situations with lots of food. Holidays are a time where we all get together. There's lots of different food. What's it like for you now to celebrate holidays with family and friends?
Well, I guess I'm just less nervous to like eat what everyone else is eating and to just I'm able to enjoy myself more and focus on like the holiday and my family instead of just being stressed about what I'm eating the whole time.
Yeah. So it's a different dimension of a celebration that you're able to experience without focusing so much on food.
Yeah, it really is.
That's That's wonderful. That's wonderful. And how about school celebrations? Has that changed for you?
When I was in middle school, maybe I felt more confident when people brought in snacks and I was actually able to eat theirs instead of bringing in my own, which felt really nice. But now we don't really do that anymore.
Yeah. And do you go places with your friends without your family?
Yeah, I go out for meals with them a lot, I would be too scared to do before. And like I go to parties with them and I don't feel worried at all about what I'm eating. When I go out to a restaurant, it really depends on where I'm going. If I'm going to an Italian restaurant, I usually just don't tell them anymore. If I'm going to a restaurant where I think the food might have peanuts, I still might mention it but I'm still not worried about it at all. And even when I go buy snacks at the store, unless I'm like actually think it will have peanuts in it, I don't really even check it anymore.
Okay. So it's really kind of changed your practice because you know that you're eating 3 peanuts on a regular basis as is. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's wonderful. If you could explain or describe your food allergy journey in one word, what would it be?
I would say incredible. It's incredible how lucky I was to get this treatment. It's incredible how it works and that it can actually get rid of my allergy. And it's just incredible what the body can do.
It is. It is amazing, isn't it? Well, you're pretty incredible, Alexander. You have to be so brave to even start the journey. And as we've heard, there are bumps along the way, and very brave to continue the journey. But uh, but it seems like you would agree that it's worth the effort.
Yeah. Thank you so much for treating me and for what you do and what you do for others.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alexander, for sharing your story so openly and honestly and leaving tips and tricks for those who are thinking about starting oral immunotherapy or finding treatment for their food allergies. For everyone watching, please remember food allergy treatment journeys are different for every single person. If you're thinking about treating your food allergies, it's wonderful to talk with your allergist or your doctor to find out different options for you. Now, we'd love to hear from you, our audience. If you have questions for Alexander or for us here at SNP Center, please get in contact or leave a comment on our social media channels. Thank you all for joining us today. And a big thanks to Alexander for being such a strong and inspiring voice in food allergy. Take care, stay safe, and we'll see you at our next webinar.